What's up, people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy. And here's my first episode of Joe Winko Talk for year 2021. So, yeah, my gosh, time flies so fast. I'm already on season 9 of Joe Winko Talk. So I didn't really know what to talk about in this video. I did want to do a new episode of Joe Winko Talk for 2021. I also tried asking on my Facebook fan page and no one had any suggestions, and I was a bit disappointed in that, really. I mean, because it really helps when people make suggestions. I mean, I had a couple ideas of some stuff to talk about in the future, but I wasn't so sure if I wanted any of those to be like my first episode of Joe Winko Talk for year 2021. Yeah, my OCD is really getting to me. Well, my autism OCD is really getting to me, I should say. I actually don't really have an official diagnosis of OCD, but based on the way people describe what OCD is, I just kind of believe that I have it. But the autism, however, that definitely is something that I was legitimately diagnosed with by many different psychiatrists, in case you're wondering. That's not something that I make up. But from time to time, people will tell me, why do you always say that you have autism in your videos? That's offensive to real people who have autism. And I'm like, bitch, I am a real person who has autism. What the hell are you talking about? And then they get all like, okay, chill out. I didn't know, I didn't know. And I was like, how the hell did you not know? I was talking about it in my videos. And I'm like, seriously. But whatever. So, I've been doing okay this year. Well, kinda. I mean, so far this year hasn't really been so well. I mean, I still feel like I'm stuck in year 2020, a year I don't want to be stuck in. But it's weird because 2020 was literally the worst year of my life, honestly. The only highlight to year 2020 was going to Texas in March. I loved Texas. I didn't get to see everything I wanted to in Texas. A really awesome person invited me out to Texas who was watching my videos on YouTube. You know who you are. Shout out to you. But I didn't get to see everything I wanted to see in Texas. The only reason why is because I got there right when the coronavirus was getting really bad and when everything was starting to shut down. And my adoptive parents kept telling me, oh, Joe, you shouldn't stay in Texas. You should go home right away because this coronavirus stuff is getting really bad. You might end up stranded there. Even though that wouldn't have happened at all, but they convinced me into not staying, so that's why I left early and wasn't able to see all the stuff in Texas that I wanted to see. There's only a couple more places in Texas that I had been wanting to visit, but there's a lot of other places that I've been wanting to road trip to also, now that I think of it. But I haven't really been able to do that at all. But at least I made it all the way to Texas in 2020 and up the back roads of Florida. I'll have a link to that video in the pinned comments of this video. That was back in November. A stranger from Craigslist invited me on a road trip through the back roads of Florida, which was really awesome and a lot of fun. But we also got together again and took a drive to Naples. But that's another video that I haven't gotten to editing yet. But I'm not sure what song makes me think of Naples, Florida, really. Which is kind of weird because you think I would be able to think of something. I mean, I have one song in mind, but maybe you guys could recommend something. What song makes you guys think of Naples, Florida? Do any of you guys actually live in Naples or have you ever been to Naples? I mean, that would definitely help. But yeah, that was an interesting road trip also. We didn't really go very far, but it still counts as something. It got me out of the house. That's one thing that I was happy about. That was actually another thing that I was thinking about talking about in this YouTube video. During this whole coronavirus thing that's still going on, I kept seeing ads and posts about how people are depressed and how they can't go to see their families and how they feel alone. Mainly old people, how they're depressed, how they can't go see their families, and how they have to stay to themselves. Well, I was always worried about coronavirus because even though I'm not old, I'm still at high risk for it too because I'm insulin dependent and a type 1 diabetic. And also because I'm African American, and African Americans are 2 times more likely to die of coronavirus than white people are. So that's another thing I just wanted to throw out there. I mean, not full-blooded African American, because I'm actually mixed with a whole bunch of stuff, which is worthy of a new episode of Joe Winko Talk, me discussing that. But still African American nonetheless. That definitely looks like a black guy to me. That picture definitely does. I was in the coronavirus vaccine trials, actually, for Moderna, and I already got both of the shots, and I was really happy about that. And with the vaccine trials, you don't know whether you got the actual shot or the placebo, but how people were figuring out whether they got the actual shot or the placebo was they were going in to get an antibody blood test, which is what I actually did. I went and got an antibody blood test, and it came back positive for coronavirus antibodies, which means that I actually got the real vaccine and that I have immunity to coronavirus. And I remember when I got the results, and I was really hyped about those. But to be completely honest with all of you, it seems really weird being happy about a positive blood test result, honestly. I mean, don't get me wrong, I definitely never had a positive blood test result besides this one for antibodies against coronavirus. But it just seemed weird being happy about that. But whatever, we don't have to get into that at all. But getting back to what I was saying earlier, I kept hearing about how a bunch of elderly people were really sad because they couldn't see their family at all. And then I thought of myself and I thought of my situation. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with my current situation right now, I live with my adoptive dad's brothers down in Florida. And luckily, one of them left the state to go stay with his girlfriend, and he's been gone since May, and he hasn't been back since. And the other one spends literally almost every single night at his girlfriend's house, really, which is something I'm really happy about. Because with this coronavirus stuff, I've been wanting everyone to stay away from me, but there's them also, and I don't know why they always have to come here all the time, because they both have other places they can go to. But luckily, one of them left and hasn't been back since May, as I said earlier, and the other one spends almost every single night at his girlfriend's house. Well, he does spend every single night at his girlfriend's house. However, he still comes back to the house every single day to do random stuff. But what I've been noticing was that he's actually spending less and less time at this house as usual. It's really just the thing is, me and them never been close at all. And another important thing that I should point out is way back in 2017 when my adoptive parents were going to send me down here, they didn't want me living here. They tried calling my adoptive dad and telling him, oh, Joe can't move down here. We don't have space for him down here. And then my adoptive dad, this was incredibly stupid, he told me about that instead of calling, because in case you're wondering, this house doesn't belong to them at all. It actually belongs to one of my other adoptive dad's brothers who lives up in Wisconsin. And instead of calling him first, my adoptive dad called me first and told me that. And I was like really pissed off because back then, back in 2017, I really hated Wisconsin and wanted to get away from Wisconsin. I still hate Wisconsin right now, and I'm still glad that I'm not there right now. I definitely don't want to go back, but I really hated Wisconsin and I wanted to get away from Wisconsin, and that's why I wanted to go to Florida. And back then I was thinking that when I go to Florida, I wouldn't be at this house for very long. Like, I thought I would find a lover and partner and go live with them instead, as I have been looking for, even long before I moved down to Florida, and we see how that worked out. But yeah, it's just really upsetting. However, there is a light at the end of this tunnel. My adoptive parents, they've been wanting to get a vacation home in Florida. They want to get a vacation home 65 miles southwest of the city of Jacksonville, Florida, because they really like Jacksonville, Florida. They think it's a pretty city, but they're really the only ones smart enough to listen to me when I told them that living near the coastline of Florida and living near the beaches of Florida is dangerous because if a Category 5 hurricane hits, anything that's in the hurricane's path will be destroyed by storm surge. Well, anything that's near the coastline will be destroyed by storm surge. So my adoptive parents were smart enough to listen to me when I told them that. So that's why they want to get a vacation home that's further inland and away from the water so they don't have to worry about the storm surge risk. And they like Jacksonville, Florida, but they said it's too close to the water and it floods too often. But they still want to be within an hour or 2 hours away from Jacksonville so they could go to visit there just for a day trip. So that's the reason why they're getting a vacation home 65 miles southwest of Jacksonville, Florida. And they said that they plan on doing that as soon as they both get vaccinated for coronavirus, because my adoptive parents, they're really old. They're both in their 70s right now. And they've been worried about the coronavirus also. They seem to be less concerned about it than I am, but they still are concerned enough about it. They're keeping safe. Whenever they go out, they wear their mask. And this past Christmas, I was really worried about my adoptive parents because they both got sick, and I was worried that they might have coronavirus, and I was like, oh no, this is not good. And I was really worried about them, but luckily they're both feeling better now. We talk on the phone literally almost every day, and they're really awesome. They also ordered me some presents off my Amazon wish list, so I'm really excited about that and really happy about that too. But my adoptive parents are really awesome people, really. We definitely cannot live together, but they, well, I'm not so sure, really, because the reason why we the reason why they put me out of the house is because me and them weren't getting along. But back then, I wasn't really in a good state of mind back in 2016 when we weren't getting along. Like, a lot of stuff happened that year, which caused me to. But that was way back when I was 20 years old, and I'm 25 years old right now, so, I mean, I may still look the same, but things in my mind have changed since then. So, I also learned to appreciate my adoptive parents a lot more, really. They're actually really good people. Just like the time when my adoptive dad's brother was trying to call my adoptive dad and have him pick me up from this house so he can kick me out. I mean, he can't kick me out because he doesn't own this house, but that's been a while ago. I forgot which episode of Joe Winko Talk I talked about that in. He had friends over when he knew I was worried about the coronavirus, and I told him that I was mad at him for doing that, and I told him that I wish he would disappear so I'd be safe from coronavirus. And then that's when he called my adoptive dad and told him, come get your son right now, and tried kicking me out. But then my adoptive dad got really pissed off and told him off and said, you can't kick Joe out of that house. And I was like, how stupid is this man? Not my adoptive dad, but my adoptive dad's brother. And I was saying, he seriously thinks that my adoptive dad is going to side with... Oh, wait a sec. I see how he could think that. But he didn't. My adoptive dad sided with me on that. And it made me really angry, honestly. But I honestly cannot wait for my adoptive parents to get the vacation home 65 miles southwest of Jacksonville, Florida, so I can go live there instead. Also, because this house is in quite putrid condition. I believe I talked about that in one of my previous episodes of Joe Winko Talk. The ceiling in the kitchen is gone. The front door has a huge hole in it from a lock that broke. That's a long story, but from a lock that broke because it wasn't well maintained. That's why it broke, so I had to cover it up with duct tape. There's outlets that are missing their covering, but it doesn't even matter anyway because this house is in Pinellas County, and as soon as a Category 5 hurricane hits, this whole entire house is going to be destroyed. It almost was destroyed back in 2017 during Hurricane Irma. But luckily, Hurricane Irma came up the peninsula of Florida. If it would have came up the water in Florida, this house would have been under 30 feet of water. But that's actually what I was thinking. I'm actually at the polar opposite of what most people have been thinking during this whole coronavirus pandemic. People were sad because they didn't get to see their family members at all. People were sad because they didn't get to see their relatives. And here I am, sad because I can't keep them away. Well, I mean, they are staying away, but not as far away as I wanted them to. But, I mean, I'm not really as worried as I thought I was. I mean, I am still worried. I mean, but I got my coronavirus vaccines and I have the antibodies in my blood saying that I have immunity. But still, I can't stand being around my adoptive dad's brothers, really, because they definitely aren't taking this coronavirus stuff seriously. I overheard them say that Dr. Fauci is lying, and they also support Donald Trump. That right there should say everything. And about my adoptive dad's brother, the one that tried to kick me out, and the one that's still living here, Dane, um, earlier I was saying that he looks a lot like Ron DeSantis, who's the governor of the state of Florida that I'm living in, another idiot who isn't taking the coronavirus seriously. But now that I think of it, he actually looks more like Matt Gates or something. You guys should know who he is. I mean, if you're familiar with Florida politics. Let me show you his picture right here. Yep, that's definitely him. That definitely looks like him. But yeah, overall, I seriously cannot wait to get the hell out of this place. And pretty soon it's coming. I mean, I'm not sure when, but soon enough. I was on the phone with my adoptive mother earlier, and my adoptive mother, she knows how I can't stand my adoptive dad's brothers, and she herself and my adoptive dad were even telling me, yeah, you definitely need to live somewhere else. We're definitely gonna find you another place to live. When we get our vacation home, 65 miles southwest of the city of Jacksonville, Florida, we'll definitely make sure to send you there and set you up there so you can be away from them and so you can be by yourself. We will still come to visit from time to time, but you just need to be by yourself. So, yeah, I'm glad they realized that because they said they know how I can get when I'm living with someone I don't like at all. And, yeah, they definitely know that too. But yeah, that's that, really. To be completely honest with you, if I was actually living with someone who I actually loved and cared about, this wouldn't be... I mean, this year still would have been difficult, but it would have been quite a bit less stressful than it is, really. I mean, my adoptive dad's brothers, who I live with, They're not my family, but they're also not my friends either. We don't talk to each other. They never done anything for me. I never done anything for them, but they never done anything for me either. And most of the time, another thing is, a lot of my adoptive dad's relatives, they all live down here in Florida. Like, they all live around Pinellas County, Florida. And most of the time they forget that I even live down here. They didn't even want me, none of them wanted me to move down here either. All of them were trying to talk my adoptive dad into not sending me down here. That's what they were all telling my adoptive dad, not to send me down here. And I just think, wow, okay. But I didn't really care. I didn't really think about it so much because I was just wanting to move to Florida. But it seemed like they all were low-key trying to tell me that I'm not welcome. Yeah, I know they were trying to tell me that. And I don't really give a shit, honestly. I mean, I just can't wait to get the hell away from here. I mean, just go live at my adoptive parents' vacation home 65 miles southwest of the city of Jacksonville, Florida. And meanwhile, the rest of them can all get killed by a tsunami. That would actually be really cool, honestly. But, yeah, that's my morbid autism mind. Yeah, I mean, I've been in this house way too much. I seriously need to get out and need to go somewhere else. That's another thing. I mean, luckily my adoptive dad's brothers are not here. I mean, they're not here right now. My other adoptive dad's brother, Dane, he barely spends any time at this house. I'm really happy about that, and I'm really, really, really thankful about that. I wish he would spend even less time at this house, and he's starting to realize that I don't like having him at the house, and he's starting to keep away, and he's starting to go to his girlfriend's house and spend more time with his girlfriend, which I'm really glad about, too, because his girlfriend is actually really nice. I like her. I mean, I only seen her a few times, but she's really cool. And, like, if you already have a girlfriend, wouldn't you rather be with your girlfriend than at home with your brother's adoptive son who wants you to stay away from him? Really? I mean, it's more than just coronavirus at this point. I mean, because, like, so much stuff, like, I remember I would type about this stuff online, the stuff that's going on, and I would do it in a anonymous name, really, because I didn't really want to talk so much about this in my YouTube videos, even though I am right now. And people were telling me, oh, your relationship with them is ruined. And I was like, what relationship? We never had one. I mean, come on. But whatever. I don't even care at all. I'm just waiting for my adoptive mom to get the coronavirus vaccine so I can stop worrying about her getting sick, for my adoptive dad to get the coronavirus vaccine so I can stop worrying about him getting sick, so they can come down here, pick me up, help me get all my stuff out of this house. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't like really need at all, wouldn't need to take with me and wouldn't want to take with me and would just throw out. But it's hard to even organize stuff in this house because this bedroom is too small. I did a whole episode of Joe Winko Talk about that, why my bedroom is so messy. I'll have the link to that in the pinned comments. But they said that they were going to come down here, they were going to find the vacation home, and then after they find the vacation home, they were going to come here, help me get all of my stuff. And there's even some stuff that I have that's still up in Wisconsin that I didn't bring down with me. They were going to bring that too and take it to the vacation home. And they were going to set it all up, and then they were going to have me live there and stay at the vacation home 65 miles southwest of Jacksonville, Florida. And that's where I would reside. So further north than Pinellas County, Florida, so it will be a bit colder up there, but I don't really mind the cold that much, honestly. I mean, it's Florida cold, not Wisconsin cold, so I can definitely take it. Plus, Jacksonville, Florida is a cool city also, but it's going to be 65 miles northwest of me, so I can't really get there at all. I mean, I definitely can't ride my bike that far. I can't walk that far either. I guess I could just find a stranger on the rideshare section of Craigslist to take me there, or anywhere else. I mean, because if I lived that far north in Florida, I wouldn't really plan on going to Jacksonville very often. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would visit Jacksonville, but I would really be more interested in seeing some parts of southern Georgia or southern Alabama or even South Carolina, because to me, it's more interesting to go visit another state instead. And that's really the ironic thing. Like, I really wanted to come live in Florida, but as soon as I got here, what my next goal was to get away from Florida and go to another state and go visit another state and go do a YouTube video in another state. Because I don't like doing YouTube videos in my hometown at all because, I mean, it's a bit too personal, really. But, I like going somewhere else and doing a video somewhere else. Cause I don't like for all my videos to just be of me sitting in my bedroom talking about stuff. My messy, crammed bedroom. This is literally the smallest bedroom I've ever had in my whole entire life. It's true, really. And all my stuff is in here. But, whatever. So that's it for this episode of Joe Winko Talk. I hope you guys all have a safe year 2021. I hope it's better than year 2020. Well, it will be better than 2020. And I hope everyone stays safe because you have to remember this coronavirus stuff is still out there. But I'm keeping myself safe though, so that counts as something. Some people say I'm keeping myself a little too safe, but you can never be too safe. So don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. So that's it. Peace out, people, and Happy New Year.